Wow, thank you so much for coming along. You know, when I first started in this business, my dad said to me, look, if you're going to do this, if you're going to be an entertainer for a living, you need 3 things. So don't be silly, if I had 3 things, I'd probably be in the circus. He said, no, seriously, there are 3 things you need. The first thing you need is a really good memory. And the second thing you need is great communication skills. And the third thing is, I forgot what the third thing was, but anyway, I'm sure it was important. The 3 things. The memory, of course the memory is the first, the most important thing. Now, all of us like to think that we can remember a certain amount of things, but I think everybody would probably say to themselves, I wish I had a slightly better memory. My wife, incidentally, she's got a terrible memory. She never forgets a thing. It gets me into all kinds of trouble. So what I'd like you to do is to participate in a little experiment for me, if you would. If you're wearing a watch, I want you to take your hand and cover your watch. Don't look at it, just cover your watch. Now, you probably look at your watch between 30 and 50 times in the morning, maybe a couple of 100 times over the course of the day. Just try and imagine the face of your watch. Does it have numbers? Are they Roman numerals? If it has got numbers, are all of the numbers there, or are a couple of them missing? Maybe the one where the date should be. Maybe it's just got little dashes where the numbers should be. Try and think to yourself, yeah, I wonder if you're right. Have a little look and just check if you're right. And I can see some smiles. I suspect that some of you are wrong. Okay, cover your watch again. Right now, remember you just looked at it a second ago. What brand is it? Is that brand printed at the bottom of the face or at the top? Try and think, try and imagine to yourself how that looks. Now have a look and see if you were right again. Oh, a couple more smiles. I suspect some of you were wrong again. All right, last time. Your watch. You've just looked at it twice. Exactly what time is it? Without looking. This is a selective memory. We remember the things that we need to remember, but things go right past us and we forget them. And also we have 2 different parts to our memory. We have long-term memories. This is the sort of things that happened to us when we were a kid, when we were at school, and I'll come back to those in a moment. And then we have short-term memories. We have the little bit of memory which tells us what we had for breakfast this morning. And I'm going to show you experiments in both short and long-term memory. Now, people watch me do these experiments and they say, do you have a photographic memory? Well, in some ways, we all have a photographic memory. Our minds work exactly like a camera. We take a little snapshot and then we file it somewhere away in this giant filing cabinet that is our memory. Now, I'm not claiming to have a photographic memory, but what I will tell you is I've got some photographs of some memories. There are about 30 photos here, and these are photos of various things that have happened not just to me, but also to family members of mine during the course of my lifetime. And I've printed a whole bunch of them out so that I can show them to you. And some of them you'll recognise, but some of them you won't. Some of them are very obvious, it's very obvious what they are. Some of them really only just mean something to me. But I'm going to get someone to choose a big stack of these, and you're nice and close. What's your name?
Casey.
Casey, you're going to be in charge. Would you just grab a big clump of those pictures from the middle there? That's perfect. And Casey, what I want you to do is to give those a really good mix-up. Terrific. And then I'm going to get you to leave them on your seat because I've got another job for you to do. So just pop them down on the seat for me for a second. That's great. And if you'd stand up here and join me. Terrific. And I'll get you to come across this side. Casey, I'm going to get to you and I'm going to ask this young man right here. Would you come and help as well? What is your name, sir?
Tom.
Tom. Okay, Tom, if you'd run around the other side of Casey there. So Tom and Casey are going to create a little display, a bit like that one you've got at home on the fridge, on the whiteboard behind you. I want you to take each one of those photos and fix it onto the whiteboard using one of those magnets, all right? And spread them around and just make a nice and neat arrangement, and then I'll come back and find you again in a second. Casey and Tom doing a job. Terrific. Now, how many people like pie? Yeah, you probably thought I was talking about meat pie, or maybe lemon meringue pie. I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about a different kind of pie. The sort of pie that you use in mathematics. It's a little symbol that looks a little bit like this. You probably recall this back from school. Now, there are a number of different things in the world of memory that people like to test themselves with, and one of them is pi. Pi, if you don't know, is it's a number which is used in mathematics, and it's usually used to calculate the area of a circle. And actually, to create pi, you just take 22 and divide it by 7. And then you get an infinite number that begins like this. It's 3 point, and then all of this. It's an infinite number. It goes on and on and on. In fact, currently, pi is calculated to in excess of 5,000 million decimal places. There are places around the world where people are trying to calculate further and further and further into pi just to carry on proving that it is an infinite number. Now, around the world, would you believe there are championships for people remembering the figures, the digits of pi after the decimal place? The current record is over 100,000 points. So that's going to make what I'm about to show you look a little feeble, really, because in this book there are only just over 3,000 places. The current Australian record is over 10,000 places. In fact, with my measly 3,000 or 3,500 places, I hardly even rate on the charts. Just think about what it would be like to try and memorize over 100,000 digits in order. It's pretty crazy. Are you guys doing okay back there?
Yep.
Have you finished?
Yep.
Okay, jump back to your seats. Terrific, well done. So, I'm going to get you to test me. Of course, I could stand here and recite 3,500 places for you, but I suspect everybody would be asleep by the time we got very far through. So, let me hand this out. And what's your name, sir?
Gerard.
Gerard. Gerard, you'll notice that this is arranged with rows of 10 digits, and that's the way I memorised it. I memorised it in little chunks and took little groups of 10 digits at a time and memorised them. So I want you to turn to any page in here. And I can tell you one thing as well, that the sequence rarely repeats more than a few digits. You'll find rows of 3 and rows of 4 that will repeat throughout. In fact, you can go onto the internet and find exactly where your date of birth lies in those digits, how many thousand digits it's in, if that's the kind of thing that floats your boat. Gerard, any row of 10, and what I want you to do is to, at a nice steady pace, read out the first 9 digits in that row, but then leave off the last digit for me, if you would, please.
Okay, 1 0 1 7 5 3 2 2 6.
Is the last digit an 8?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, let's do another one of those. Yeah.
817 64 37 36.
And a 9, I think, comes after that.
Yes.
Right. Good. Let's try it a slightly different way. This time I want you to miss off the first digit of a row, and you can turn to another page if you like.
723 431 257.
First digit on that row, I think, is a 9, am I right?
Yes.
Okay, let's do one more of those.
353 793 505.
The first digit on that row, I think, will be an 8.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Tell you what, you can hold on to the pie book for now, because I'm going to come back to you again a little bit later. All right. How did you go? A nice little arrangement? Now, what I'd like you to do is to take the photos that you chose and to hand them out to people around you so that each person has got one picture. Thank you. That's great. Good. Now, let me explain what's going to happen. I'm going to look at the pictures on the board, and then I'm going to try to work out, by remembering the ones on the board, exactly which pictures are missing. So in a second I'll come back to you. There'll just be a pause while I have a quick look at the pictures that are on the board. Okay, good. Would you each stand up for me, please? You didn't keep one for yourself? That's all right. Okay. The first picture that I know is missing is one that doesn't have me in it. It's actually two of my nephews, and this is very close to the ocean. We were on holidays a couple of years ago, and they're beside a river, and they have two fishing nets. If you have that picture, would you sit down for me? Oh, you have that picture?
Well...
That's a nephew and a niece, I think. There are two of them. Yes, good. All right. Close enough. Okay, good. Had me worried for a moment there. Okay, and the next one that I can see in my mind is a little similar to that one, but actually it does have me in. It's an older photo. In fact, it's in black and white. You can't see my face. Unfortunately, you can only see my bottom. I'm on the beach, and there are some of my relatives are there, but you can see me very close to the sea. There we go. Yep, you've got that one. Good. All right. One that I can see is, this was a trip we took some years ago to France, and it was actually me that took the photo, but you can see a lot of people in the photograph, and we are waiting to go up the Eiffel Tower. Okay, the next picture that is missing is, again, it's not got me in it, but it's one that I really like. It's got a beautiful picture of an animal, and that animal is a rabbit, and it's a little boy holding a rabbit. Good. And, okay. Ooh, this one goes back a few years as well. It's a picture of a classroom, and there are old desks. It's from my old school. If you have that one, all right, good, terrific. One more. Okay. Haven't a clue. I'll come back to you at the end. Take a seat for now, thank you. All right, the photographic memory. Now then, mathematics. I can see the look of excitement on your faces. Now, you know, we get scared at the thought of mathematics, and even more so the old style mathematics, you know, arithmetic, where you've got to add up numbers very quickly in your head. And the kids can't do that these days. They've got a laptop or a calculator or even an iPhone, which helps them to do that. Well, I like to think that in the generation I grew up in, we could do arithmetic pretty well. And I'm going to show you a little arithmetic experiment. Now, this does use my memory because I memorize the numbers and I'm going to add them up very quickly to check myself along with you. And I'll show you how it works. Over here on the board, there are 8 strips, and each one of these has a bunch of different numbers on it. I'm going to pull a couple of them out and stick them on the board so you can see what goes on. There we are. Now, if I put those 2 strips together, you can see that we're going to add 35, 75, 99, and 88. 4 2-digit numbers. Who's pretty handy on a calculator? Any volunteers? You are? Good man, there's one for you. All right, over here. Anybody else like to have a go? You're going to have a go, sir? There we are. One for you. 3 nice big calculators. Should be easy for you. So, what I'd like you to do is to add those 4 numbers, those 4 2-digit numbers up. I'll give you a little bit of a practice. What's your name, sir?
Hayden.
Hayden. Hayden, what did you get?
297.
297.
297. Perfect. All right. Now, if you change them around, you find that the numbers change and each thing alters very slightly. So if you flip 2 numbers around like this, let's try these 2. Add these 2 numbers up. Hayden, what did you get that time?
294.
294?
294.
294? Let's flip it around this way. See what you get now. What did you get?
267.
267? 267, 267. So, just by changing the positions of the strips, will completely change the outcome. What I've done is, and you'll see by the end of this that clearly I have no life. What I've done is I've memorized the positions of the digits on each one of the cards, and I've worked out what the totals are if you put them together in combinations. Trouble is, I haven't just done it for 2 strips, I've done it for 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. In fact, I can calculate pretty quickly exactly the totals with all of the strips if you put them together. Now that will take us forever and we'll need a very big calculator. So let's just do a couple of simple ones to start off with. I'm going to slide these all back. Good, and let's see. Alan, would you help me for a second? What I'd like you to do is to take any 3 of those strips and arrange them however you like on that board, please, and tell me when you've done it.
Done.
Okay, and I'm going to be in a little race with our people with the calculators. So people with calculators, when you're ready, Alan, you can say go.
Go.
Okay, I've finished. What did you get, Hayden?
2,313.
I got 2,963.
2,963.
2,963. We'll go with the majority rule. 2,963. Okay, let's up the ante a little bit. Alan, take 4 strips, any 4.
Okay.
Okay, all done?
Yep.
Got them arranged?
Yep.
Okay, tell us when to go.
Go.
I finished. How'd you go this time, Hayden?
27,993.
27,990.
And this time I'm the dad. I got 20,993.
Oh, majority rules again. 27,993. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Now, before, what I was saying was that people like to challenge their memories and they like to run little competitions. The competitions for remembering the numbers of pi, competitions also for memorising the number of playing cards. The current world record is in excess of 11 decks of cards, instantly memorised in any order. I'm going to show you the way that I memorise cards, and it's a slightly different technique. I'm going to memorise them very quickly, but I'm going to work it in a slightly different way. Let me give you a little clump of those to shuffle up for me if you would. And would you shuffle some as well? And would you shuffle some as well? And would you shuffle some as well? Mix up your cards. Terrific. So what we're going to do is to separate the audience into 2 halves. Each of you will have half a pack of cards, and I'm going to attempt to memorise only half a pack, around 26 cards. But I'm going to do this very, very quickly. In fact, I'm going to try to do it in less than 12 seconds. So I'm going to have someone time me, and I'll try to memorise half a pack in less than 12 seconds, and then I'll explain what we'll do after that. So if I can give you half the pack, I want you to just spread them around this little group of people that are sitting around you there. And Hayden, pop your calculator down onto the ground for the moment. There we are. And would you pass that half to your side of the audience for me, please? Now, in the meantime, while we're doing that, who's got a second hand on their watch to time me? Mike, terrific. Okay, so people to my right, hang on to your cards for now. All the people to my left over on this side, I'm going to try to memorise your cards first. And I'll try to do this in less than 12 seconds. So Mike, you can tell me when to go. And I want you to show me the cards. Turn them around, fan them towards me so that I can see them. Hold them up nice and high, and we'll try to go on all of those cards. Tell me when.
Okay, and go.
Okay, hold them up for me. Let me see them. Down. Okay.
11 seconds.
11 seconds. Okay, that's less than 12. All right, now I've got a pretty good idea of the cards that are over there, but I am going to try to have a look at yours. I won't memorise them with quite the same degree of accuracy, but it should be enough to tell me exactly what I need to do in a minute. So everybody to my right, exactly the same thing. I'm going to get you to show me your cards, and I'll try to go for about 7 or 8 seconds this time if I can. Tell me when to go, Mike.
And go.
Okay, let me see them, let me see them, let me see them. Okay. Down. Okay, terrific. Now, Frank, if you could collect up all of the cards for your half of the audience, and Adrian, if you could collect up the ones for your side. Terrific. Now, Frank, what I'd like you to do is to take any card out of your pack. And Adrian, would you take one card out of yours? Look at that card and remember it. Then I'd like you to swap cards, please. Now mix the stranger card into your pack. Okay.